Well, hello, football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, head Viking coach Billy Skinner. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing great. We're back to work. It's Sunday again and getting ready for Martin. So just living our best lives up here.
You know, it's interesting, back to work, and some people on a Sunday, well, Sunday's a work day for me also. I'm a youth director at our church in addition to my regular job. So I can at least sort of relate working on a Sunday, and I appreciate you making time for this as we always do. So, well, welcome to Victory Land, Coach. I mean, it must feel great for you, the coaches and the players, to have that first victory of the season and in your tenure at Lamar under your belt.
It does. It feels really good. I'm so proud of our kids and our coaches, though. They bought in the last 2 weeks. We've had one singular focus, and that's just to get better and to beat Buoy. And that's what we talked about for the last 2 weeks. We just, hey, beat Buoy. Anytime we broke out, that's what we would break out to. And the kids went in believing that it was going to happen. And when it did, I couldn't be more happy for them. I couldn't be more happy for our coaches. It's a great feeling, but you know, like anything else, 24-hour rule goes for that, just like it does for losses. So, you know, we're on to the next now.
Well, good. That's good. Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of break down the Buoy game, because that was almost like 2 or 3 games all in one game. It was quite action packed and a lot going on. After a miscue on the opening drive, the Vikings then went on a scoring binge in the first quarter and kept it going through the entire first half. Jaden Morris had some great passes to the flat as well as downfield, targeting, McCoy, Bias, some others pretty consistently.
Yeah, it was for us, we went in, there were a couple of matchups that we wanted to create and take advantage of. And then just like we've talked about before, we want to put the ball where they're not. And Jaden, I mean, you talk about having an extension of the offensive staff out on the field. That's what it's like. I mean, he checked us into a few really good plays where, he sees that they're aligned a little bit different. And he's like, wait, this play would be really good here. And he checked it and they ran it. And, when you have a quarterback that's got that kind of moxie, that has that kind of understanding of what we do, it makes what we want to do, it makes that possible. And so he did a great job of finding McCoy, who ended up going for something like 200 yards, and finding Bias on a one-on-one. And so, they did a great job offensively, just seeing the field.
Well, that's amazing. And, and you give him a lot of credit, of course, because he's got that moxie, he's got that visual and adaptability. But how cool is it for you as a head coach, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach, everyone to be able to say, yeah, Morris, if you see something, you do it. We trust you too,
It's a great feeling. It really is. And it's a testament to the relationship that he and Coach Williamson have, because Coach Williamson is our offensive coordinator, but he's also our quarterback's coach. And so, they meet multiple times in a day. I mean, and they'll talk about game plan, then they'll watch over practice together, and then they'll watch the opponent film together. And so in this sport, you guys, if you can have kind of that one singular brain, it's a good deal. And I hate to say that our offensive coordinator thinks like a 17-year-old boy, or maybe I'm saying that the 17-year-old boy thinks like
an offensive coordinator.
But either way,
they meet in the middle, whatever
right.
it is.
That's right. Let's just call them 25 years old. And
okay, good.
Yeah, they the fact that they share that brain on Friday night, it's awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, the defense played a heck of a vital role in the first half also. I mean, things like Peyton Kelly's pick six and some quarterback hurries by Patterson and Wells and others. Stevens with great pass coverage in the end zone on a certain play. And in fact, things were happening so fast. I was, of course, being a away game, I was in the visitor stands. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments, but I was taking notes on my phone and I'm looking down to finish up a note, and I look up and Peyton Kelly's running the ball into the end zone. I'm like, I think it was an interception, not a fumble recovery, and kind of verified from the others. But wow, how great for the defense to come alive.
And you've been talking quite a bit the last few weeks about those little dudes, those undermatched dudes who go and make these big plays. And, we had 3 of those guys score touchdowns who are quote unquote undersized guys, but they just play with phenomenal effort. And it's a race to who can get to the football. And special things like that happen because guys are going as fast as they can. And then the opportunity presents itself and they capture that moment. And those 3 defensive touchdowns, they capture that moment. And I couldn't be more excited and proud. But the other thing that it did for us was it pointed out a flaw that we have, that's something we have to practice. After we got our first defensive touchdown, hey, we got to get our PAT unit out on the field. And, we ended up, it ended up being a mess because, it just happened, bang, bang, PAT. Now we got to go to kickoff and all of those things. And so I made a note in my little notebook that, all right, hey, this week we're going to make a plan for scoring on defense and we're going to practice that. And we know right away that this group goes out there. And so, it was, again, we all are trying to learn and grow. And that was something that we saw, recognized, and something that we'll adjust this week. So,
well, what a great challenge to have when your defense scores 3 touchdowns and you're concerned about getting the PAT guys out on the field.
That's right.
Hey.
Maybe we got some practice at it this week. We got to do it 3 times. So
that's all right. Just don't fire yourself, a special teams coordinator.
No, I made sure I stayed away. I tried to stay away.
All right. Well, Coach, I've mentioned on some previous shows how I enjoy visiting with families and getting to know, some of their families, the players' families whom I've not previously met. And when I'm in the stands at away games, because not in the booth, they usually on Friday night, this is so great. I saw Mindy Schutte, Parker's mom, kind of reach up and make a great catch of one of those gold footballs from the cheerleaders. So if you're ever getting short on, offensive receivers, Mrs. Schutte might be one to sign up.
We'll sign her up. I like to, it's good to know where Parker gets his juice from. That's good.
There you go. Hey, I also got to know Jaden Peterson's family this week. I actually ended up sitting behind them and, talking with his dad, Harold, and the mom, Leanne, and the rest of the 2 daughters and stuff. What a great group of, great family. What a great group of people. Oh, by the way, Harold, he made a couple of good catches also on behalf of his daughters for those balls. So, his eligibility is probably done. But anyway, just in case you need to know.
Yeah, we can check just to make sure.
Coach, I bring all this up to say I enjoy getting to know those families. And it just really appears you're getting some pretty good family support for the program overall, whether it's with their individual son that's a player or booster club. Is that kind of accurate?
That is very accurate. I don't know how many times I've had parents who have come up to me and, hey, we're with you, we're behind you. And,
cool.
It's hard to believe in something when you haven't had that win. It's hard to, now they see the other things and that's great, but you want to see something out on the field to kind of keep that going, and the fact that there hasn't been that finger pointing on the sideline, the fact that there haven't been those fractures in our locker room, I think that's a testament to what's going on at home with our kids and our parents staying positive about us. And I know they've given us, a bunch of support, and it definitely has not gone unnoticed, and it's very, very much so appreciated.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that is actually carrying over into multiple ways, like it seems to, just from sitting in the stands and visiting with folks. Well, let's move on to the second half of the Buoy game. The Vikings held a commanding 41-14 lead at halftime, but the Volunteers went 73 yards on their first offensive play from scrimmage. Vikings answered back thanks to some good blocking and running, including a 37-yard run by LaRon Hewlett. Then on a Buoy 4th down, Patterson records a scoop and score. Here comes the defense, PAT, unit getting out there. All of a sudden, it's 55-21. Then Deshaun Wells, I believe, made a recovery of a fumble in the end zone on a play. And now it's 62-21. And Coach, what was going through your mind and the other coaches' minds as that flurry of points was being scored?
The expectation all week was we're going to win the game. We told the kids that, and we wanted them to believe it, and we wanted them to understand what that looks like. And at that moment, you're just trying to keep everybody locked in because human nature kind of I mean, it's the way it is. It tells you, hey, you can ease up a little bit, once things seem like they're being put away. And I mean, I'm included in that. And so we try to keep applying that pressure, keep that pressure on our kids, keep our mentalities. Talked about our theme of the week all throughout that flurry, so that our kids understood that, hey, this is just part of what we expected.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So then for the rest of the game, it seemed like Lamar was literally on defense. The Volunteers rattled off 28 unanswered points, though Lamar got close to scoring a couple of drives, in the middle of that binge, getting stopped 1 yard short on a 4th and 4. And during a part of that drive, I noticed a great block by, I believe it was Ayala, for Hewlett. As the fourth quarter began, he had a big run. And then, as you might guess, and I don't know if this is a tough question or thing, but some fans were getting nervous as the lead began narrowing. Again, one of the things about sitting in the stands, actually, you might hear them, I don't know, but Buoy had a couple of successful onside kicks, some sustained drives, and then all of a sudden, Buoy's 28-point unanswered points. What happened in that case? Is it letting the foot off the gas, or is there some other?
Oh yeah, no, and that's on me. I mean, that's what I told our staff today in our meeting. I've got to make sure that I keep that edge about me, so that our kids keep our edge and our coaches keep our edge. And I obviously didn't do a good enough job. Now, flip side of that, hats off to Buoy and their staff. They would not quit. Their kids would not quit. Their staff kept coaching. Their staff kept their kids believing, and it's a testament to those kids over there. I mean, that's. I know the score was crazy there for a while, but that's a good football team over there. That's very well coached football team, and they just had a couple of bad moments that we were able to capitalize on. But it's on me as the leader to make sure that we keep our edge, and that didn't happen. And so, I talked to our kids after, and I'll continue to talk to them throughout the week, is, hey, we got to expect to do these things, but we got to expect to start and finish. And so that's something that we will make sure we harp on, we fix, and that I'm working on personally to make sure I get taken care of for our kids.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you answering. That's kind of a tougher question to pose. And I appreciate you being, kind of transparent. It demonstrates your openness and transparency. So I do appreciate you willing to answer that question, and hope it didn't come across as a call out or anything like that.
No, Good. I appreciate it. And that's important to me just in general. I tell our parents all the time, you can talk to me about anything. You can ask me anything you want. Now, don't ask me a question that you don't want the God's honest truth to. I'm gonna be honest to a fault. But no, I keep that same standard for myself. So I'll make sure that I will answer those things about myself very honestly.
Well, I appreciate it, and so do all the fans. So, all right, so switching gears a little bit, Martin is on tap this coming Friday at Cravens Field. They got a talented team like so many others. You just mentioned Buoy was a talented team, but you know what, the Vikings do too. Yep. And it's been demonstrated increasingly, and especially with the big win on Friday. What do you see as some of the keys to the game against Martin on Friday?
For us, we know it's going to be a physical football game. They are very physical at the point of attack. They do a great job on the perimeter. They're a smart football team. But I think the number one thing I can say about them is they'll come out and they'll try to hit you. Our kids, what I love about them and what we've seen is we've played some really, really good football teams, and our kids are going to fight. So I'm telling our kids, you get ready for 48 minutes of all you can eat. Like let's throw some haymakers and let's go. And that's what our mentality is going to be all week is we're going to be street fighters, and we're going to try to match energy with them because they do a great job of that brawl mentality. But I think we've got some of those guys too. I think we've got some brawlers on our side. And then the other thing for us, special teams is going to be at center stage. I think Martin, they're good on offense. They're good on defense. They are they're elite. They're elite on special teams. And so we know that we've got to do a good job this week of lining up. We got to do a good job of making sure that everybody knows their assignment. We got to do a good job of executing our assignment. So we know it's going to be physical. And then we know that on the special team side of it, we're going to have to bring it.
Definitely so. Well, I know everyone's looking forward to a great game. Now, it breaks my heart. I won't be able to be there on Friday night or on Thursday night for the freshman games. I have to be out of town at a conference and a family gathering. So I'm going to try to tune into the broadcast that our production team will do. But my heart will be at Cravens Field with you guys on Friday night. One thing I've noticed as the season is progressing and we're kind of halfway into the regular season now, it appears to me that the Vikings are improving in the penalty aspect of the game, being penalized less and less, and it's not disrupting the offense or the defense quite as much. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yes, and that's something that we've emphasized. We want to try to eliminate any kind of pre-snap or procedural issues. I know on offense we call those drive killers. When you go from 3rd and 7 and now you're backed up 5 yards and now it's 3rd and long against really good defenses, you give yourself you put yourself at a serious disadvantage. And so that's something that we put a premium on. Now, if it's a kid going really, really hard, we had a kid who got a 15-yarder this week for they called targeting and all of that, but it was a kid going really hard, and I don't know if I agree with the call or not, but at the same time, I'm not upset with that. It's a kid who's playing fast,
right?
Bang, bang play. But the procedural things, any kind of pre-snap, those are something that's an emphasis for us. And those are things that we want to make sure we play as clean as possible.
Well, and I know what you mean about the guys going hard. And I remember the call that you're talking about. And that's one thing if there's someone doing something egregious, and he obviously was not. And so it is good to be able to say I'm proud of him for playing hard and playing through everything. So right. Good deal. Well, Coach, anything else you want to add before we sign off for this week?
We alluded to it when Coach Williamson was on here, and he talked about, just calling all former Vikings. But, that invitation is not just for Friday nights. That invitation is for anytime, reach out to me, and we want to get you in front of our kids. We want them to see what a Viking looks like outside of this building and what a Viking can be after they leave this place. So that invitation is open, and we're always willing to see you guys and want you to come back.
All right. Well, Coach, you might have seen me moving around a little bit. I don't know, but my dogs are inside. I'm going to invite. They were about to start roughhousing. So this is Archie.
Oh yeah. What's up, Archie?
He's an 80-pound Mastiff Shar-Pei mix.
Oh wow.
So if you hear something in the background, I'm trying to keep the other ones separated so they don't go nuts and disturb our recording too badly. But anyway, cameo appearance by Archie.
That's awesome. Next time we do this, I'll have to bring Patty. We've got a little French bulldog, and she's a hot mess. Yeah, I'll have to bring her up to the facility one day. Sounds
great. Well, all right. So got a little bit off track. So thanks for that message. Do you want to go ahead and break down Thursday night for us? I botched it last week when I tried. So.
Yeah, no. So this Thursday, we're going to only have one freshman game here at Lamar High School. That's going to be at 5:30 against Martin. And then our JV will play over at Martin High School, 5:30. One game.
Okay. Sounds great. Well, we need all the Viking fans to pack the stands there and here, especially on Friday night. So until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND. See you later, Archie.
Woof, woof.